Hey, what's up everybody? We're just doing a little vlog today. So far today I've already done one landscape architecture shoot. Next is a smaller landscape architecture shoot. It'll be at a commercial property that I've already photographed for this company, but we're going back to get some wider shots. So let's go. Alright, I forgot to even mention that today is August 10th and we're here in Columbus, Ohio. Also, I wanted to show you guys this sick hat that I got. Check it out. It says Hawaii on it. I got it for $5. I just thought it was really sick. I thought you guys would like it. We're at Hayden Lofts. This is a apartment complex in Dublin, Ohio, and we're going to be doing some landscape architecture today. Really just showcasing some of these amazing flower beds. We'll cut and I'll take you guys to the gardens.
Alright everybody, don't mind the noise from the cars nearby, but here we are at Hayden Lofts. I forgot that I really want to talk today about what I do and what landscape architecture is. I do a lot of different types of photography, but the bulk of my work encompasses a lot of things that don't move, as in buildings, interiors, structures, in this case landscape design, so plants, trees, and how it all flows together. I think a big part of what I do gets tied back into the original design, so I like to try to think about that when I'm photographing. Even when I'm prepping or planning my shoots, I almost always try to think about how the design is laid out and how the person who laid out the design thought about it. So that way, when I get there and I'm going to take photos, I have a really good idea of what I want to do. In this instance, I already shot this property last year for this company, but they needed some updated photos for some awards they were going for. So they asked me to come back out and shoot again. So this is an example of why it's good to keep your relationships up with your clients and figure out their needs. I could have easily just thought like, oh yeah, they're done with this property. But in talking to the owner, he thought, well, why don't you come back out and redo it since everything's in full bloom and it looks amazing. Also, I think I will give you guys a little run through of the gear that I'm using today so that you can see that I'm really using a simple setup. There's more involved in the video rig that I'm shooting this on than there is on my camera rig that you can see behind me. So yeah, let's check out my camera. Here I am with my setup. It's very simple, as you can see. This is my A7R II. I've had it for going on 2 years now, and it's just a workhorse of a camera. I'm getting ready to probably upgrade this year or maybe early next year to the A7 III, and then have this as a backup, and probably also keep it for large-scale jobs that need high-res print capabilities. I'm just using the 16-35 Zeiss f4 lens, and this lens is also a workhorse. I've probably shot 70% of what I consider the bulk of my work on this exact setup. And it's just, it works. You know, it's not the craziest, most amazing, updated, brand new rig ever, but you know what? It makes me money because I know how to use it. I think that's really important, knowing your equipment, getting familiar with it. You know, everybody wants to get the new, nice new thing or whatever, but honestly, really, you just need to find what works for you and what gets the job done right. I love having the ability to crop, so the A7R II with the 40 megapixel files, you know, I can crop pretty sizably. And then I also have a 24-70 G Master lens that I probably will not be getting out on this shoot because the goal of this shoot is to shoot pretty wide. to kind of try to show the expanse of this project. So I probably won't be shooting anything at the 24 millimeter range. It'll probably be all between 16 and 20 millimeters. And behind me is my trusty Manfrotto 290 tripod. This is a carbon fiber tripod. I trust this tripod and I've been using it for a long time. And lugging a big heavy tripod out in heat, it's just not fun. So I go with the smallest rig that I can go with, which is this. I mean, I would think that a lot of people would be like, this is all you're using? And they'd look at it and be like, that looks amateur. But you know what? It's definitely not. I've shot a lot of different projects with this setup. When it comes to architecture, I might use a different head. Today I'm just using a ball head. I would use probably a geared head so that I could be a little more precise with how I'm framing my compositions. But the ball head seems to work really great for quick adjustments and picking up and going. Like, I don't want to be here more than 30 minutes. So we're gonna shoot some B-roll now, show you this awesome Sigma 16mm with this f1.6 aperture on it, and show you some of these beautiful gardens out here. So let's roll it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing. These gardens are absolutely incredible. You probably saw some of the natural wildlife that's here. There was a monarch butterfly I was chasing for a while, but he got a little scared of me. But there was also a couple, bumblebees and some other butterflies, and I just saw a hummingbird go by. So this is why these are important. This is why gardens are important. They keep the animal life, the wild animal life here, they keep them busy with food sources, and those food sources aren't naturally occurring, throughout Ohio. So when there's big gardens like this, it really helps the local population thrive. Just broke my Gorilla Pod. Well, I put it back together, but anyways. So yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm a little under the weather, so if my voice sounds weird, apologize for that. Besides that, my afternoon shoot canceled, so that's just the way it works when you're a photographer. Sometimes your shoots cancel and you just move on. But we finished up at Hayden Lofts and everything went great. We got about we wanted to get about 4 or 5 finished images. I took probably about 10, so we're gonna go sort through those later and pick our final images, and I'll show you guys how they look. This client specifically likes brightly lit daytime photos, so that's what we're going for. We're not going for that crazy, we're not going for a moody, artistic type of look. We want something that's clean, shows a lot of detail, shows a lot of color, shows we're just trying to go for the client's vision. So yeah, we'll show those later, but in the meantime we're gonna grab some lunch and then head on home. Hey everybody, we're back at home in my studio. We're going to take a second and look through the final images. There are 6 total. I just want to show you guys what the look was that I was going for and what I finally delivered to the client. All right, we should be recording. Cool. So here's a screen recording of, you're looking at my screen for a live screen recording. So let's get out of here and go back to this view, and you can see, we'll open the thumbnails. nice and big. So you can see here's all 6 images. We'll make the screen a little bigger. All right, so you can see all 6 images here. From left to right, there's 2 separate buildings and obviously a large garden. So the garden was the focus of this shoot. In the first 3 images, you can see that I tried to position the garden and the building in relative size to one another. So I'm trying to show a sense of scale, right? Let's look at this first image. So the client told me, you know, he really wanted to show how massive these gardens were. And what this picture shows is how far the flowers span across the front of the building and how deep the flowers and plants go in front of the building. And that's, I think, a good representation of the size compared to the building. Let's see where we were at when we shot it. So let's go to the library. Let's get the drop-down menu. Let's go to the develop module, and you'll be able to see. So we are at 28 millimeters f11, 1/1000th of a second, ISO 160. So those were my camera settings that I used probably for every photo. Well, the focal length of the photo might have changed. So this image was at 20 millimeters, and I probably cropped this one down. We'll look really quick. Nope, I didn't crop it. So that's 20 millimeters. Oh, I was in the APS-C crop mode on the Sony. So this would have been closer to 40 millimeters, but that was from across the street. Next image, very similar to the one before it. Again, trying to show the size of the garden in relationship to the building. And then this image, I stood at the very end of this walking path. There was a guardrail. So I stood on the guardrail and I put my camera on a tripod and I closed the legs and I extended the tripod as far as it would go. And then I lifted the tripod over my head and put it in before I lifted my tripod over my head, I put it in a 5-second bracket delay. And therefore, when I hit the shutter button, I pre-focused, then I hit the shutter button and lifted the tripod over my head and was able to raise the camera up about an extra 8 feet. So I was already standing on a guardrail, and then I lifted the camera above my head in order to get the entire garden into this photo. And even on the right side over here on the right, you can see where I missed just the edge of the garden. But it was very tough to photograph this with the tripod over top of my head. Last one, this was further down the walking path. I stopped and did a very similar thing to the last photo where I lifted the camera above my head and did a 3 exposure bracket on a timer. And then finally, the last one is these 2 buildings side by side. This one also I lifted over my head because I had to go across the street, and we'll see where we shot this. 17 millimeters. So this was very, very wide with the camera and the tripod lifted directly over my head. All right, guys. Well, I hope you liked the video, and I'll try to do another vlog soon. Tell me if you guys like it in the comments below. Peace.